ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, TheScoreEsports.com, Mountain Dew, and ESEA.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ESL Pro League. We're getting ready to jump into our second map of our first set of the day here. Team Liquid versus NRG. About to go live now on Cobblestone. We did see NRG claiming the first map back there on Dust 2, but it was a bit of a close-fought battle with the T sides being dominant. And now we go on to Cobble, which tends to favorably be another pretty much T-sided map.
Exactly what I was going to say. I mean, we saw dominant T sides on Dust 2 by both teams. Cobble, an equally T-sided map, or can be at least. Sometimes we see, CT-sided maps, or sorry, CT-sided halves on Cobble and Dust 2, but both maps could just be really dominant for both teams. But it is paused, and we're gonna get live here in a sec. I actually need to get the IP. Give me
we'll get probably our observer to send that to you, and if not, we'll figure something out for you. But for the most part here, we should be jumping into it in just a few moments. And of course, the big things that we can talk about here in the match is just, some of the individual performances that we saw. Will they carry over? Peter doing consistently pretty good with the op. And obviously Tabson stepping up there for NRG. Even seeing Legia, but Legia tends to be really good on Dust 2 most of the time, and then kind of drops off in other maps, and just randomly in other matchups too, he'll also show up. So another question there is whether he's actually going to come back or not, or whether we'll see him kind of fall off the radar a little bit.
So we didn't even see a double up setup from Liquid at all on that CT side Dust 2, and that's kind of like their go-to thing, right? And I think they like to double up setup Cobble as well. So I really want to see them get a double up setup and see if they can hold things. For NRG, they don't really rely on it nearly as much. In fact, their double up, a lot of the time they just get it done by committee. Maybe Tabson picks it up sometimes Legia picks it up. You never really see, Fugly or Gobby pick it up, but Liquid really relies on that double op, probably coming back from, Simple.
Yeah.
They really like the double op. They performed really well with Simple and JDM on it. So.
And at the moment, it seems to going to Pimp a lot. Like I think you were saying before that, he's generally the go-to guy for that one, and they see him picking up a lot. But we are now going live, guys, into the map. As I mentioned previously, it is going to be here on Cobblestone, where actually both of these teams have had some pretty good results. An interesting fun fact, by the way, it actually came down to both of these two teams at the end of the last Pro League season, and it was this map that they played it on the last season that ended up deciding it. And it was because of the fact that Team Liquid beat them by 2 rounds that Team Liquid went to last season's Pro League LAN, and NRG unfortunately did not get the chance to go to it. We've expanded it now, and from the current rankings, both are currently in the midst of going to it, but generally when we get to that last 2 or 3 weeks is where things get a little bit of a tighter race. But Team Liquid on the T-bomb, or T-bomb side, the T side, and NRG on the CT side to start things off here. A little bit slower after we see a mini confrontation there. Ultimately, though, Team Liquid leaning with 3 players over here towards B in just a moment. Possibly could be a drop-down pinch tube.
I think it might be a fake, actually. I think they're going to send 2 out long and then just go B with the bomb. So JDM and who is this? Nitro have nades for it as well, but they're going to know it's a fake really quickly. PTR and Fugly are able to get these kills.
Flashbang around the corner, not going to connect, and actually Fugly distracting a lot for this peak all of a sudden from Peter. He's going to grab both of those kills here, and we do see the actual hit coming in. It's worked, though. They actually have bitten on it quite a large degree. Legia rotated off the site, and all you have left here is going to be Tabson sitting in chicken coop here. Legia tries to wrap back out. That finds a distraction for Tabson. First kill's easy. It's the second one that's a little bit harder to grab, though, as it brings Elige down nice and low. Pimp trades it out as we grabs 1 kill against Legia. Elige grabbing the second, but now he's lost his teammate. He's alone in the 1v trade, trying to hug the wall, but Gobby's going to bring the pressure to him. That's a mistake, though, but the big wide peek into the final 2 players is where he is going to lose his life, and Fug is going to close out to give NRG this pistol round.
Yeah, but you say only Tabson to B, but he's like a brick wall, man. He actually messed up a little bit. He got a little too aggressive when he saw 2 of them there by peeking. If he literally just stays alive, they probably have 0 chance of winning the round. We saw Elige actually had a glimmer of hope of maybe winning that round, but Liquid instantly takes the A-halls, throws a fake, goes towards B, but they're not able to get any kills at A, so, fake wasn't too great.
Now we are going to see Team Liquid as well. They did manage to find a plant, thankfully, so they actually could have decided to save here and go for the buy on the third round, but they've instead decided to go against that now and just picking up the Armor Tech 9 buys for most of their players. Liege even going for an SMG, and for the most part too, they have a pretty heavy stack leading up to the long A entrance here too. So they want to contest this immediately.
Yeah, and I think if you have good nades, it's honestly better to second round buy if you get bombed down, and maybe even third round buy, because it's so easy to win rounds like this unless you go into PTR and just dominates you all, gets bombed down, gets a 3K. Pimp last alive, you know exactly where he is. Almost no chance to win this one. But I actually do think it's a really good idea to second and third round buy and consistently force buy on Cbble, because unlike most maps, it's really not nearly as difficult to win with Tech 9s and good nades than it is on other maps. I'm sure they'll save here since they got almost no kills there, but it wouldn't have surprised me if on that second round they got a lot of kills, like 4 kills, maybe ended up in a 1v1, and they still buy that third round. Because, you know, like I said, Cbble, you could definitely win with just some well-placed smokes and flashbangs.
NRG is actually, I think, one of the few teams that does decide to do that on occasion if they end up coming out on top there the first 2 rounds or so. Cbble, I think that nade tossing itself a little bit short, but probably finds a little bit of damage here too. And unfortunately for Liquid, Pimp and Heatguard is going to line her up. It's 2 fast kills, and JDM is also another one there. So Cbble gets a nice casual 4K, and Tabson's going to close out there.
Yeah, and their money is really good. They got, I think it was 4 ump kills on both rounds, right? Maybe it was 3 the first one, not sure, but really good money here. Pete gonna get that op, probably going towards A, and we'll see what they do if they send for B or if they keep a tighter A setup with 2A. Fugly's playing middle for them, and I want to see what type of setups they get in there.
It's going to be a 3-2 split for the NRG side initially here. As Cbble once again holds the position inside of drop room, waiting for the hit to come over from Team Liquid. Team Liquid, of course, still playing to the general T default for this map. 3 of them slowly progressing up towards long, with 1 kind of waiting in the back, prepared to go in a drop, and they still keep both JDM and Liege closer towards outside, either at the entrance to long, or in this case, just outside of the castle tunnels there leading up towards the B-bomb site, just to watch for any extra aggression on the CT side. No follow-up into the bomb sites just yet, and of course we see a large part of the CT game on this map is trying to get that intel over there up on Cat, and that's going to be Lega's job here, although a lot of nades flying back and forth, but only a little bit from the T's. However, look at how much is wasted on the CT side. Now, though, they are going to go for the execute, so thankfully, it's well-timed and well-placed. If they had held back a bit, this would have been wasted. A 3-for-1 trade. JDM and Hiko at least finding some, so they do get control of drop along with the platform here. And now Liege really has to capitalize on this to buy the room for JDM to get up on site and get this bomb onto the ground. Molotov should hopefully allow Liege out a little bit here, as it actually, well, he's the fallback for Fugly, but he does still jump over that, taking relatively little damage in comparison to the loss of life he might have faced there had he been found out in the open just a few moments before that. So 2v2 is going to be the retake situation here for NRG. They're taking their time with it. They've still got a lot of utility, so hopefully they can sort of do that here as they flashbang their way through the halls here. Liege sitting up on the platform, waiting for his chance to catch some of these guys pushing out directly onto the site. They even throw Molotovs there, back over towards the chicken coop. Not really going to burn anyone out, and there we go. There's the first target found. Unfortunately, a lot of their attention was drawn over towards the statue area, and they weren't really focusing back behind the boost-up block and over there on Broken Wall. So with Peter alone and the time very low and them making 0 progress into finding any of these kills, Peter's just going to fall back and look to save his gun.
Yeah, Legia missed a really easy kill on JDM. I was watching him. He probably shot 15 up bullets to someone not looking at him. Really did any damage. But that B site is so difficult to retake. Once you can get it in like a 2v2, first off, you have to defuse out in the open. Second off, as you saw, Liege was just, if you just abuse the peeker's advantage on stairs or that box while they're trying to retake, and maybe peek every 3 to 4 seconds, it's almost unlosable unless you get mollied or they hit just a ridiculous shot.
And so now Team Liquid will be able to get their edge started here too, as they don't really find anything big on the first couple of rounds. But keep in mind too, NRG having to work with a couple of SMGs in that last round and whatnot. They were saving for the anti-eco, so they still had plenty of cash to buy up with. They've got at least this round before they are put onto a save, and they have a viable amount of cash or two to possibly try for a force buy too if they just want to empty out their bank accounts. However, great flashbangs initially, completely blinds Legia, and with the smokes, there's no room to support. It's just a textbook shutdown from Team Liquid as they get 3 fast kills, and the round's already over. Peter and Fugly were fully committed to A, and they've got no chances at all moving back into the site, pulling off a 2-on-5.
Oh, and they're gonna favor B a lot. Whenever Peacemaker played with like Immortals, I mean, there was times when they would just go B 15 rounds in a row. So they favor B a lot, and it wouldn't surprise me if they continue to favor B this entire half, and then just when you think they're going to stack it, then go towards A. It's kind of like the mind games that I think Liquid will try to play with. So But I give a lot of credit to Peacemaker. I've actually never even spoken to him. They just tried to chase down Fugly and Peter here. But, you know, Immortals, even before they had Zeus, was such an incredibly good Cbble team. And they had so many good smokes and one-ways and just really understood the map so well. So I think Peacemaker just makes any team he's coaching really good on Cbble. So.
And we've seen just how much, I think like the first event they played in with him was, if I remember correctly, I think it was like ACS.
I think they beat like Navi or something on it too.
Yeah, well it was, I know obviously they go on to beat them at the major and whatnot too, but it's like the ACS event isn't like super amazing, but immediately like 2 weeks after that when they go back to their boot camp, I think it was in like Amsterdam, they prepared for the major there, and then all of a sudden at the major, right, where no one's really expecting anything great from them, but they show up with confidence, and I mean, clearly the leadership from Peacemaker shows it fixes that issue that they had for like the month or two following MLG Columbus, where they also had that, obviously like, it's the meme at this point, like the comeback problem where they get to 15 rounds and they kept losing it. That happened like 2 times after MLG, so it was like actually a problem for them. But as soon as Peacemaker got into the team and we saw him obviously being on it for a few months there, he was able to solve that pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think he's a really good coach. A really good coach.
So now we'll see here from the Team Liquid side.
Yeah, and it's pretty rare that you get 3 buy rounds in a row on your CT after you lost like the other 2, but they do get another buy round in.
He's going to try to push his way in here and gets both of those kills. It's such a great flash. Hiko and Pimp unfortunately can't really react to that too well. They trade some damage out, but it's still going to get knocked down. We see Fugly moving out there. Lige will take him out of the picture here, but now Peter waiting so patiently over there just by the broken wall. But the problem is JDM gets a perfect peek onto him, knocks him out of the picture. Fast response from Legia here, but unfortunately he's out in the open here on the ramp approach. So again, it'll be tied back up. Keep in mind, Gabi doesn't really have a good rifle to play with. He's only got the shotgun, and that's not going to be the greatest gun to play with. He tries to dive into the smoke. He's going to lose his life there, but it at least acts as a distraction for tabseN to move back out and catch the trade. This goes into a 1v1. Keep in mind, too, 20 seconds on the clock. No bomb plan as of yet. And at the moment, JDM is trying to check towards the doorway. I'm not sure if he's heard that fall away here, but I think actually JDM is just going to make a run over for the B-bomb site instead, which is smart. He completely avoids tabseN, and he should have just enough time to get safely behind the statue and get that onto the ground.
Yeah, that was really well played by JDM.
Oh, wait, he might have enough now. This is going to see in a second. I think he just gets it onto the floor, but that was pushing it.
Yeah, but Fugly peeking there, like he was feeling it after he got those 2 kills, and JDM gets on the stairs. And if you're tabseN, he's playing this so right. So you don't want to go too early because you want him to think about the flank. If he's not thinking about the flank, it's really easy for JDM to just hold this. But if he's thinking about the flank, all of a sudden on stairs and things like that, there's a good chance like he checks his flank here and then just dies.
The Molotov's going to be tossed over, though. Visati may know where he's coming from, but falls back. He's really just trying to waste time here. The pistol's out. tabseN gets the kill. The real question, though, is he going to have enough time? He runs back up here. This is going to be a close one. It may be on the edge of him not being able to grab it, but actually, just at the last moment, he'll pick it up, and NRG will find this round.
Yeah, he got that with ease, man. No, that was really well played by him. He didn't give up a spot too early. He made JDM have to think about things, not just, you know, running out and trying to challenge instantly. Like FGB saw this. Just messing around. But Fugly made that round a lot more difficult than it had to be. He was feeling it. He got those 2 kills. Even if he just stays in middle and just as long as they know that he's in middle, it's so hard for them to do anything. They can't really cross towards A because they have to constantly look towards their left. Instead, he went for it and tried to make a highlight reel happen, and they came really close to losing that round.
Liquid here, unfortunately running into a volley of grenades as they push that out. We should note, too, that despite the fact that we do see NRG win that round, their buy isn't the greatest here, so they're working with a bit of a scrap. Shotguns and SMGs, they're having the impact all of a sudden. Legia drops the bomb, and now he picks up a 3rd kill, too. Finally goes down to Pimp, but it's Pimp versus the world here in a 1v4, and wow, Fugly tries to go for a flashy play as he jumps over the boost rock. He will go down there, but tabseN does immediately trade that out, and again gives the round over to NRG.
Yeah, and super poor money on Liquid now. And as soon as Fugly got those 2 kills, though, at A, I was like, okay, they're probably not going A again. Like, they know that they should have lost that round, like, a lot earlier than it did before it came down to that 1v1. And now, NRG in really, really good control. I thought that round might have future implications for Fugly kind of dying there in the 3v5 and kind of going for it because their economy got so hurt. But they regained control. It was looking really shaky for them. And now we just see a nice anti-eco where Lige picks off Fugly behind a Molotov. Probably a bit of a one-way there.
Peter, though, holding 2 as they try to push into him, and we do see Gabi, or apologies, it's tabseN actually that moves out there and picks up the kill. Gabi definitely doing most of the work for it, though. But again, Peter back over here at the T side of Long A. That has massive impact. They're constantly worried about him. They have to move back, and they send 3 players to kill him, but all 3 end up going down in basically 3 separate 1v1s. So it's just left to Elige. He's tucking himself in the corner, hoping that he can catch a rotator from A, or apologies, from the B-bomb site. But at the moment, they've all got him pretty much surrounded here.
Yeah, and that was very dangerous, man. Pete is stuck Long A there with 0 help. If they just get that trade kill, this round could be very, very different. Instead, you know, obviously Pete got a 3K, but that round could have gone so easily Liquid's way.
At the moment here, he's going to move in. He actually does do a spin around kill onto tabseN. He doesn't spot that for some reason, so now moving up to the site, but still no bomb control. 40 seconds still to retrieve it, but it's basically going to come down to this 1v2.
I might have called out Elige too early, didn't have enough confidence in him, but he definitely can win this.
He's going to move up now, and again, still actually taking his time about this, even checking for the flank back down by the T ramp here. As he's going to slowly shift over towards Long. It's Peter that he has to win the battle for, and he's got this single flash to try and impact it. Bounces the corner, perfectly flashed onto Peter, so he actually is able to grab this bombs. It's tucked away in that little corner where he's still safe to peek it, and he'll escape. Now rushing up to the bomb, so they know he's got it in hand, and he's going to waste no time just getting this onto the ground itself. Now, though, no utility. It's all him versus the world here. He's got to take these separate 1v1s, or possibly just the 1v2 outright. Legia jumping around, though, wins the duel with the SMG, and we'll put a 6th round on the board for NRG.
That was pretty much perfectly played by Elige there. You know, able to essentially, you know, figure out by the process of elimination that both players are over towards middle and whatnot, getting tucked away safely in plant, like you said. And he gave himself a chance to win with a P250, essentially, at the start of the round, right? So
NRG will still be able to claim it, and obviously we're going back into a pretty dominant situation for these guys. Team Liquid on the T side still having plenty of chances to buy up here and there. And this is going to be another one of them with JDM picking up the op. Full utility for the rest of the team. And again, opening up actually pretty heavily towards outside. Leading up to the A-bomb side, really only having Hiko moving in over here towards drop to play around with that. Nobody else following up towards the B site, but they haven't committed the bomb towards this A-long push or even the mid-connector push. Everybody is still keeping it outside just at the exit to the B hall, so still leaving that option in case things go badly here to fall back and obviously suddenly change it up to a hit to the other site.
And if you notice with Liquid, I don't think they've ever initiated from drop room first, which is very, you know, rare on Cbble. Most teams initiate from drop and then work around the map once you spread their defense out. Instead, they opt to hit A early, or, you know, take control and then 4-man towards A, maybe 4-man towards B. They're not really doing much at drop, which is really unusual.
And so for Team Liquid here now, again, still no shape up, or change up, I should say. From the early shape that they've made for themselves over here close to the A-bomb site. NRG haven't really shifted either. They've got the 2 players around the boost up wall and Fugly himself sitting up on the boost position. And we wait though as flashbangs roll out. They are going to commit themselves to it. Fugly grabs the first kill. It's a fast trade from Elige, but it's Peter again on this bomb site, dominating things. Gabi's going to chime in there for a pickup of his own 2, and it all falls to Hiko, who is going to snipe Gabi with the AK there, takes him down. Still hunting for Peter. In the meantime, though, he's safely retreated up onto the A platform. And it doesn't look like he's really going to be going for a wide peek on a Hiko anytime soon. They've got a 1v3, they've got that advantage, might as well use it. No smoke anymore on those A main doors, so just let Hiko go across it, or Legia's got the easy shutdown.
Yeah, that was really nice by Pete, man. He gets 2, he stays alive. He's 14-2 right now, Blue. 14-2.
Absolute monster from him.
And Elige over there at 11-7. Pete has more kills than 4 of Liquid players combined right now.
That's actually incredible too. It just speaks to poor form that Liquid is in. And I mean, some of these are coming in as a lot of like eco kills for him, but even that 3K that he gets on the eco round 2, we talked about like just how impressive that was, and the fact that he was isolated himself and how hard that was going to be to hold that position without any additional support, especially with how aggressive you can be in the pistols and still be relatively accurate while moving around that much. So regardless, Liquid put themselves onto another, for the most part, just Nico round here. A lot of these players just half buying with Tech 9s. Over tabseN again, the chicken coop. It's been a favorite spot for him, and it's him and Fugly that pretty much shut down the entire round.
Yeah, and I would be really surprised here if Liquid doesn't do something at drop right now. They're probably saying, because the round at A, when it went to that 1v1, they, you know, ended up losing that, but they should have lost easier, right? Remember I talked about Fugly peeking a little too much there? They should have lost easier. Then they go B and they get completely stomped. And after that happens, as a strat caller, it's really difficult to call what to do, because clearly their normal their normal cobble takes aren't working right now. So what do you do from this point? Do you go back into something you're comfortable in? Or do you say, you know what, we got to get a little more ballsy. Let's, you know, maybe work towards the drop more. Generally speaking, when you take a pause like this, you usually see teams just say, either one person has an idea of how they can win around. They're like, hey, I could just get this pick and we could go off that. Or they say, well, this wasn't working. Well, this wasn't working. Well, let's try this. So I'd be pretty surprised if they don't work drop here. But right now, just a battle between, you know, Pete and the Liege almost for kills. But Pete's, you know, just dominant. Like you said, he had those eco kills where he had that 3 kill, but they were super important. I think he got a couple of exit kills when he was saving the op when the B site got taken those 2 rounds. But 8-2. You know, NRG has pretty good money, and Shaq's up there smiling. Well, not up there. But he did just get in the Hall of Fame, by the way. I don't know if you know that. Do you
I don't follow basketball.
No? Oh, but he had a really good speech. I love Shaq. He's like one of my favorite players. So.
Yeah. Definitely showing his team right now is a lot of them are doing pretty well. But NRG, actually, moment making a bit of a mockery of Team Liquid, not only in this match, but that last match too. Beyond Liquid's T side, we didn't really see any redeeming factors, and now on this map, Liquid's T side isn't showing up, unfortunately, up to this point. NRG already have a great lead, and obviously, if NRG doesn't show any large issues with their T side, then things will look great for them if the scoreline continues to be in this dominant fashion for them to close up pretty quickly on the second half.
I haven't been looking at how many nades they're throwing a drop as we're about to go live, but I mean, I don't think they're just keeping it smoked all the time, because tabseN and Legia are generally playing very up close to B.
Yeah.
So I'm really wondering why they aren't taking more, you know, control and putting more presence there.
And for the most part, when they do look to try and defend drop, it's more of that passive style where they don't really have a man inside ready to defend it. They just keep guys waiting at the window and just outside of that transition room there to watch for it. Gabi will take the active role initially, but probably in about 5 to 10 seconds here, he's going to fall back outside to watch for the hit on Catwalk instead.
Yeah, they probably listened for the sound cue, and Liquid slowing it down a little bit more. They see the drops smoked out. One person probably watching the flank, I'm guessing, but you know, again, it's 5 guys towards B. Leash kind of watching the flank. So maybe a B exec, but I'm really hoping they go drop here, because right now it's just so easy for tabseN and Legia to play up close and only worry about the platform. And as soon as you have to start worrying about, you know, behind you, it just opens up so much and makes it so much more difficult to hold if you're the CTs.
And so for now, again, Team Liquid still playing primarily with the approach over here towards Cat. They haven't tried to go for that drop play as of yet. Gabi, I correct myself, however, he's taking the very active role in defending at this time, but the Molotov is going to send him immediately out of the window. No damage taken by him, but up to 3 players now getting ready to push into it for Liquid, and Gabi definitely not being quiet about it. He grabs the first kill. He'll get traded out, but now Fugly's here defending the outside room. He grabs one. Fast trade from Hiko. There's some hesitance from Fugly, but also waiting out here is Legia. He's blind, but thankfully tabseN rolls out from Chicken Coop to defend it. Now the smoke on top of the boost block is defending Legia so well. He's able to get essentially a free kill in the Nitro, and even JDM doesn't really know where to look to trade that. So now it's placed this down to a 1 versus 2. JDM trying to sneak around here to the very least retrieve that bomb, but he is still going to have to deal with the wrap from Legia as well, fully checking it. In the meantime, though, Legia is about to roll right up behind him, and if he doesn't check it in a moment here, there you have it. Legia shuts down the round, and it is another one for the NRG side.
Yep, and they did try to drop, but the problem is that Pete was aggressive at A, and then they just had 4 people towards B and drop. You know, Fugly's an A player. Look where he is. He's at E-box. Pete had complete control over the A halls. He knew nobody was there. Not one person from Liquid even showed presence over at B. They just watched it from Dragon and just made sure they didn't push. So they just ran into a 4-man stack. Now that might have been by design. They say, okay, well if it's 4v4 or 4v5 there, we could still win. But as you saw, you know, Fugly had a huge impact in that round.
Peter again checking out towards the long A approach there. I'm not sure if he spotted the 2 pushing in, but it's going to be enough for him to toss the smoke out here. And now the pistols are going to be pushing him more than likely in just a moment here. If Team Liquid are feeling confident about it, they toss the smoke. Well, apologies, the flashbang over top there. It's going to be enough to push him back, but again, you've got the suicide watch here too. Fugly finding 1 kill. Tim catches the trade on the fallback there, so 1 for 1 initially. Now, though, the T's are going to move right back up here. In the meantime, we have seen enough of a gap widen there for Peter to be able to fall back up on the platform, which causes some hesitance on Team Liquid's side, and Pop Flash definitely not going to help them out either here as Hiko tries to throw it over top, but ends up hitting the top of the wall there.
Yeah, but still, I mean, they got so much info and they have so many people towards A now that they could just freely rotate with. Gabi pushing behind him. It's going to come down to Pete here, hitting some nice shots.
Pete is not going to be checking to his right side here, so we have the flank moving in a moment. It's Hiko, tries to hide behind it, but Legia and tabseN are the one that pick up the first 2 kills for the CT side. It's evenly traded again. It goes down to a 2v2. No real gun retrieve for Hiko as of yet, though, and he's down at 12 HP. Nitro not doing him any favors either at 55. Also, no utility remaining for this T side. They know where Hiko's hiding at. Taps and literally just gets the free kill. Walks up while Hiko's blind as a bat. He can't find anything. It's up to Nitro. Good first kill from him, but now he's got to get the final one. But Gabi has missed his opening volley. They know where he is. And Nitro is going to catch Gabi jumping up onto the broken wall. That will allow finally for Team Liquid to pick up another round after about 6 straight from NRG.
Yeah, I'm wondering where Peter's smoke went. He threw that molly and it actually kind of screwed Fugly over because, or I don't know if he threw it, I'm assuming he did. And they just kind of peeked over it in that long haul. And a lot of the time when you throw those Molotovs in that long A halls, it just becomes a one-way for one of the people. So he was shooting at him, but I'm pretty sure he couldn't see him that well. Ends up getting taken out 4v4. But even then, we didn't see Liquid split at all, right? Like, they didn't have anybody go drop. It's a lot of just 5-man takes, and I don't think they should have won that round based off like the positioning that I saw.
Does end up coming down to the clutch scenario there, and play from Team Liquid was up a little bit stronger. Gabi not able to find that opening shot, as we saw him having the peek against the Liege there. Now though, Liquid actually going to use a lot of the utility with the 2 players they have over here, just to make some noise into the site, and we are actually going to see one of them jump below broken. Nitro literally loses 85% of his health pool here, dropping into the site. He's got the position, but now he's got to do something with it here too, and unfortunately he won't find it. At the very least, it's kept the rotation at bay, and now the real execute up towards the T-Ref there has started in itself. Liege playing over here along with JDM. Liege actually holds back for a moment there too to try to see if he can catch this player, trying to fire at JDM through the doorway, but not going to find him just yet. And NRG in the meantime, because of the hesitance on the plant, is actually being given a lot of time to line up the possible flank from Legia.
Yeah, so the fake works pretty well. NRG is taking this retake really smart, though. If you just all go through the doors in heaven here, really dumb idea. You need to get presence over on the flank, or else it's so difficult to retake from these 2 choke points. Or 3, I guess, if people have it.
Hiko knows it's on the way, though. He spots that first player working in on the flank position there, but also having to deal with Long in just a moment here, too. That's mainly going to fall to JDM to be able to catch some of that. Hiko moving in, catches one. Legia in the same time, though, does find his opener through the doorway. And now Hiko trying to trade out some more here. They're running low on time, though. They can't really afford to play around and wait for better positions anymore. Gabi jumping into the pistol, brings one of them down to 13. Peter trying to hold things up, but it's Liege that grabs 2 quick kills, and the 3rd one as well. Liege moving in there, shuts things down, and Team Liquid do find another one. They do actually end up losing Liege towards the end of that round due to the bomb explosion, so it's going to force a rebuy on him, but ultimately, again, coming into the last closing rounds of the half, thankfully they've got enough cash for the full buy here, and as long as NRG don't completely upset in this one, but we wouldn't expect since they're going to be on an eco, they should still be in pretty good hands at this point.
And right here, if you're NRG, like if you were losing the half, you might just buy the next 2. But since they're in a really good spot, they're saying, hey, we're going to eco, we're going to win the next one, we're going to have double digits going into the second half. Opt to save.
They're going to be dealing with pressure pretty quickly here too. Peter finds himself probably one of the worst spots to deal with that type of Molotov there. Has to spend time going for the jump up and then obviously following it up to get further enough up on the steps too. So it's going to be an easy kill for him as he walks right up there, takes him down, pushes the other CTs out of this position too, and the Molotov lurching right through, forces more of these guys just beyond the doorway there, further back. Try to nade it out. They actually do end up falling away from this A hit, realizing the amount of pressure that's sitting in this site. Tabson, Gabi, and Fugly all in the midst of this one, and they'll just take it over to B instead, where currently they only have to deal with Legia. Legia is going to be the only one here trying to defend this, trying to keep himself hidden for as long as possible, and that actually works out as he peeks out there. He grabs 1 kill against the Liege, so far the only pickup there. Fugly's been taken down, and Hiko's going to push right up there. Tabson the last one, but he doesn't find anything either. Fairly clean round from Liquid.
Last round, they have a good buy here. But NRG, honestly, has been so superior tactically to Liquid. Even a lot of the rounds that Liquid was winning on best 2 on T side, like NRG was positioned really well and making a lot of the right plays. They didn't get the kills a lot of the time. I mean, Liquid are all pretty much world-class players talent-wise, so that's understandable. But strategically, I think like Gabi and Co have just been so much better than Liquid.
I'd like to see one more chance at them to be able to edge out here towards double digits on their CT side on Cbble. Again, Gabi playing a very held-up role over here in the drop room, waiting for pressure to roll its way in. He'll also have a little bit of support from Fugly, but it seems like he's rotating out to that position to hold in the transition room once more too. So waiting for Team Liquid to actually start their execute in towards B, They know it's going to be rolling out over here. And actually, Legia, he throws that smoke a little bit too far beyond where the flames are, so he ends up taking even more damage from it because of that one. He still gets the smoke wall out here, but again, now they're going to force them in, and he can't support with this low HP. That's opened up such a wide hole for the guys on Team Liquid to abuse. Look at this, 3 fast kills from them, and that may have just secured the round in itself. They still have Gabi in the site, but he's going to be instantly denied. Peter moves in. Peter's got to pull up the world here if he wants to bring this round under his team's favor. And it doesn't look like it's happening. He's already down to 20 HP, stuck behind the rock angle, tries to go for one more peek, but he cannot find it. And that is going to close out the round. So it'll be 6-9 here. Team Liquid rounding a nice comeback. But of course, that is going to be the end of the first half, guys. We're bringing you back in just a few minutes here with more at the ESL Pro League. So stick around.
He's going to get the one kill in that bomb incoming onto the side. FNX has to stay up. No! He gets the triple FNX! Oh my god, what a way to win that round! They don't have a smoke, so this over still. Oh, look at that!
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, TheScoreEsports.com, Mountain Dew, and ESEA.
Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. It is another very close game here between NRG and Team Liquid. 6-9 is our first half score. Obviously, the scoreline itself being a little bit closer this time as we come out of the half, but plenty of room for NRG still to shut things down if their T side is just as dominant as it was back on Dust 2.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely in the driver's seat this game. I mean, the odds of them winning are pretty high, especially if they win that pistol. But it was just a very odd half there. They only went drop 1 out of 15 rounds, and normally drop is a huge focal point, you know, because then you could just cause rotations, and you could just at least having the threat of being able to shoot somebody in the back almost at all times is so huge for T-side. I don't know if I've ever seen a Cbble map played like that, where it's just 1 round out of 15 you go drop.
Just completely avoiding it for the most part there, too, especially considering just how default the positions tended to be from the CT side. There wasn't a lot of shifts happening. On the energy side, it was the same type of setup being played, and they never really adjusted it that much, except for maybe 1 or 2 key rounds.
No, absolutely. And the thing is, it's understandable if you want to avoid drop like that, if they're sending a lot of resources there, right? They're constantly resmoking it, throwing mollies, nades, but it was really God-B with an ump.
Yeah.
That's what they were avoiding the entire time.
He would usually hold for 1 nade there, too, and especially towards the end, he always played that same spot with the nade
right underneath. Right underneath.
Just holding it, trying to toss it out, so I mean, he's basically playing a one-and-done spot, so they almost guaranteed would have it for the most part. I think the big issue for them when they did try to go for it was, I think it was Tapson that sat outside that got like 1 or 2 more trade kills.
No, it was Fugly, remember?
Fugly.
Because
Apologies.
Pete had complete control of A that round, and then they had 4 towards B and 2 towards drop. And, you know, didn't work out too well. I think we're going live here, though, Blue.
Yep, and let's get directly into it, of course. Team Liquid, still behind in this matchup, of course, but thankfully picked up quite a few rounds towards the end of that first half, so they did bring it a little bit closer, and now they can win this pistol. And, of course, if they don't have any issues, of course, with the following anti-ecos like they did back on Dust 2, then things will look a lot better for them to immediately tie this back up and hopefully for folks who don't make this match a little bit more competitive. NRG, though, wasting no time and not even really playing around with the A-long approach either. I mean, Liquid are going to get the read on this by pushing out, but they're going to have to try and line up a flank to it. Thankfully, they've also taken direct contest to the platform position, too. Fugly's going to move up, try to change this, but he can't find anything with the Glock. It takes so long. They still get the kills, but it's good damage been traded out onto Fugly. He's lost 2/3 of his health, and the fast flank comes in here, but there's a counter flank for it. And I think we do see Legia. He may have tried to go for the knife there at the last moment, but Nitro still manages to deny it. He takes him out of the picture. However, Tabson again pops out there, gets an instant headshot onto Nitro. Everything is left in Hiko's hands in a 1v4. Definitely not looking good for him. He's just stuck outside of the doorway, and even as he tries to push in, they've got about 2 guys waiting for him to do that. So Tabson up on top here. No, they've got him stuck in the tight corner. Found one kill here from the Rock position, and really Tapson just trying to delay him, and it's working. It's doing wonders. As soon as he peeks out for Rock finally again, though, it's Tapson to shut it down, and it gives NRG the second half pistol.
Yeah, big 4K by Tapson there. I mean, Liquid had Elysian JDM over at that B, Platin Stairs area, and could have easily gotten 2 to 3 kills. Pimp, full W down middle, knew it was B. But their setup wasn't very synergistic, right? They had 2 players playing up close with USPs. If you know they're going B, they even should have heard them because they probably walked way too late, NRG did. But now, look what happens. They go down drop, Godby gets behind them. Liquid's actually on a save here. I don't even think they have armor right now, but the power of drop room, man.
And they immediately get A site, or apologies, B site control here too. Now, the final 2 are really just going to be moving in, trying to hunt down some exit frags if they can find that at the very least. They have a Pimp in drop room here hunting for some of it, but they've spotted him. He actually almost gets that kill on the Godby, but Tapson moves in to save the day. And now just trying to timing tap onto Nitro on the fallback there. They know they've got him out here around the pole, and they've actually got knives out too. Nitro running away, but it's actually Lekia that chases him down with the knife.
The disrespect.
Bringing him into the trap and shutting it down. A little bit of bonus cash there for the T side, but ultimately really just looking to crush them now.
Yeah, probably going to be another or Mac 10 round for Godby. You always see him. He's like the guy that goes in first always on these anti-ecos. He always has a Mac 10, and he's always jumping. So.
Hey, it works, so.
Absolutely.
Might as
It's
well.
the best way to do it, honestly.
Pistols, hitboxes, jumping. Definitely not going to work out so well for the CT side, but.
Yeah, but back on that pistol, when you have 2 USPers up close and you 100% know they're coming B, it doesn't make that much sense because you have that early flank from Pimp. Pimp's calling that they're coming. Maybe they just didn't feel they had enough time to go back, but if they had been like Coop and Statue there and just made sure you got them like 1 kill each and stayed alive and made them look at you, most likely Pimp would have been able to come on a quick flank because that was, he was just so fast.
And Godby wasting no time to get that drop pressure as soon as it is clear. Once again, they control it. They actually have the possibility for an A pinch open up here too, although I don't know if they're going to go for it just now. With that said, though, the bomb does actually end up retreating out towards the mid connector, and this will start the push from Peter too, up onto the site. Biggest pressure for him is going to be Pimp, but I would assume he'd check around this corner. He's going for it right now. Checks on top though, so he gets dinked, and this opens it up for Elise to trade it. Nitro, Hiko, and Elise, though, immediately get traded back out, and JDM is going to get knocked out there, too. So while we do see Peter getting traded back out on that site position, the rest of it is pretty easily handled, of course, and we get through this first 3 rounds pretty quickly for NRG. Now the gun round comes in. Yeah,
and limited casualties, right? 4 alive the 3rd round, 5 alive on the 2nd round. So they're pretty stacked on cash. Pete Oppien spent like $10,000 there or something, man. So he only has like 450, but we'll see what type of strategy NRG takes here.
Pimp was like $150 off from being able to buy up armor behind that up as well, so he doesn't get it this round. He's just going to pick up the smoke and flashbang combo, and he's going to wait over here at the pressure to explode out towards long A. More than likely, actually should go fairly well if Godby follows through with it leading up onto this site, but with GCT's waiting around the corner, he's going to be pretty hesitant here. They do find some really damage on the Hiko. I think they toss a nade down into drop, and that connects onto him. But beyond this, it's fairly slow in the opener from NRG, as they're just taking their time with the default play.
Yeah, pretty standard setup by Liquid. 2 towards A. Nitro's in a spot where he's probably hoping he doesn't get mullied out right now, because that's going to be pretty bad, but just annihilates Godby. They threw a smoke to block off the op, but they didn't even check close right, so.
Spot the peek from Hiko there and drop, so Presence, they know it's going to be in play. And Nitro also peeking up there too, catches an additional pick up onto Peter. 2 of them going down. I was really trying to hunt down some kills, and Hiko going to walk right in, misses the first shot, and that buys time for Legia to pick up the SMG once more. They've got control of the drop fully here now. They're going to move out. Perfect pop flash against the leash. He can't do anything, but it's JDM with the up in hand. 1 kill, 2 kills, and now it's all fault to Legia. He didn't pick up a rifle or anything, so still stuck with just that SMG. I was hoping he could race up to the site there and find a few kills, but now he's going to deal with his op pressure from a pretty long range for him, and it's an immediate peek onto JDM. But JDM is going to respond in kind and punish him. Picks it up with what was essentially just a 1v3 on that site, and stops the remaining players of NRG from even getting close to the plant.
Yeah, that was a sick shot by JDM there. So right there for NRG, though, they were looking to take control of that long haul. Didn't happen at all. They didn't even have somebody to try to trade kill with Cop B. So I'm not really sure what their strategy was there, actually. Kind of scratching my head at that.
Thankfully, they still have enough cash to buy up once again. With them being on the T side, it proves to be a little bit more forgiving. Now, though, Team Liquid aren't really going to be playing around with the B side anymore. 4-man stack in this direction. They all decide to commit to it here, and even Pimp is pulled away from long A fairly early on here to get himself in a position, too, where he could also rotate. So they good read on it, but obviously no commitment from NRG. So if they spot the same thing from the CT side, then they could very easily give up and decide to wrap towards A.
Yeah, and Liquid didn't want to make that same mistake they kind of made on Dust 2, where they just kept, like, they just almost never had that double up. They were like, look, we're going to play, we're going to get our double up. That's our main setup. That's our, like, bread and butter CT side. But they do the double molly to drop. Nitro just destroyed trying to help Eco out by that molly. 50 damage to it. 4v5 drops open. And now this is when it just becomes so difficult for Liquid. It's bad enough that it's 4v5, but with drop taken as well, just the fear of being shot in the back is just everything.
And obviously, they are going to be checking all corners here at this point, too. NRG even trying to watch out for flanks as well, just in case Team Liquid wanted to try and do anything drastic. 40 seconds left, so we will need to see NRG actually start their execute here soon. But now that the battlefield has faded away a little bit here, and we've seen things get a bit quieter, they were feeling a bit adventurous there to move up, but Elige is punished for that. Peter finds the shot onto him. They're ready to deploy smokes and all their other utility here under the B-bombs, and as they move in, JDM spots the push out from drop, but a smoke gives him a little bit more room to maneuver back out here. They do the boost up on top of it, and JDM is going to miss a very crucial shot here. Pimp with a fast response. There's the second up coming in for these guys here, but beyond that, nothing else found as of yet. Now they're being pushed out. The flank is opened up here too. Legia is, oh my goodness, that spray is so messy, and then Pimp does the 360, what I assume was going to be a scope if we didn't see it. Still, 360 shot onto Legia to destroy his flank, and that should at the very least allow them to sneak away. But also, take a look at Nitro. He's on the site right now, pushing in, trying to see if he can punish anybody. He's got to make a move soon, though, if he wants to try and do anything here. Actually winning out the round, maybe a bit out of the question, but at the very least, he can destroy the two players looking to retreat. If they move away quickly enough, that we could try to jump on it.
Ninja.
However, Fugly's sticking around in the last moment here. He's going to see it, and he will shut it down. But if he had fallen back there a second or two ago and didn't hear the defuse sound, that may have been very plausible for him to ninja that.
No, absolutely. But, like, yeah. Like, yeah. Come on. Come on.
You really got to win those.
Yeah. We got to hit those. It's unfortunate it was on camera, right?
Yep.
Oh, yep. There it is.
The jump around.
Those are those times you're just like, I hope GoTV was watching someone else.
That was almost like a 720 he did there too, so styling a little bit to get the kills, but ultimately still around for NRG as they now just sit 3 away from closing out the match. The gun's being saved here by Liquid a little bit, so we still have that op in play for Pimp, but just the upgraded pistols, and I think Elige was able to buy the scout on his own here on this round. So
yeah, and they force bought, but they didn't drop a gun. So
okay. So Elige gets damage onto Legia, and I think Legia has some team damage on him a little bit there too, but it ends up he runs into a molly and kills himself. Bit awkward at the start of that round. Pimp and JDM are the last two alive, but
oh my, NACS at its finest here tonight. Just beautiful representation of North America's Counter-Strike scene.
Pimp the casual
I'm just messing around.
Headshot to the team, and then the mess up below broken wall.
Yeah, full eco here, but I think it's kind of interesting, right? Because I almost guarantee you, going into Cbble on that second round, if they had played Cbble first, for instance, they would have probably bought second round. But because of how Dust 2 went, they were probably like, dude, let's get into our setup, man. Let's get our double op setup. I don't want to have another half where we're just pistoling, you know, every other round, half armoring and not having double ops and things like that. Let's get into our setup quick and trust that we'll win with our setup.
And Team Liquid here, as they do go onto the full eco run, they do decide to take a risk on the B-bomb site. And at the moment here, unless they change it up very soon, it's going to pay off pretty badly here, as the guys from NRG are just going to walk right up onto the A-bomb. So they do start the shift, but it's as players are starting to investigate along. They're not near the site at all just as of yet, though. It's very slowly pushed from the NRG side, so they will be given at least a little bit of time to probably get 3 or 4 of their players up on the site before we finally see peaks. Out they go, though. Good initial flashback there, too. Saves got B from being overrun, as 2 or 3 of those guys are out in the open ready to peek against him, and now they're moving to take control. They did buy time for the rotate, but they know that they're not really in the greatest positions here, too, so NRG are definitely going to abuse that. 3 quick kills from them, even burning out 2 of them. Nitro responding with at least 1 pickup here against Fugly, but for the final 2, they're stuck behind the big wall here. They're going to try to push in through the main doorway and in the shed. Peter actually missing an opportunity to take down one of them, but obviously just pushing them back here. It's certainly going to be now the tie point round for NRG.
We gotta check if there's a sign out there that's just telling Gabi where to go. You know, like that Virtus Pro vs. Cloud9 thing or whatever. Because Gabi is seriously making just perfect reads. I mean, I know you saw kind of towards the end of the round that they had some people at A there, but they had a 5-man B stack. So by the time they came to A, they were so out of position. It was bad. They had nobody to the far right side. You know, and it was really easy for NRG to take.
And so Nitro himself actually retrieving the op here, so a little bit of an expensive gun to be able to get away with. And now NRG know this, and they definitely don't want to let him get away with this, as that opens up the potential for the double op setup as they go into the last round.
I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea how Nitro just got an off into 3K there. I wasn't watching.
I know someone pushed into the cross space there.
It was probably sick though. Sorry for talking over that. I wasn't expecting it.
I only really saw him grab the one kill that is, someone tried to push him in crawl space and just get the kill quickly, but I think that was an AK, that wasn't the op, so I don't know where he found the op from, but somewhere managed to pick that up, but still gets dropped though, so not a big deal, and no double op setup here for Team Liquid on what could be the final round, just going to be JDM picking his up, and for some of these guys, not even great utility setups either. Hiko only with a single smoke, which is already used in a flashbang, and Pimp doesn't get anything at all. See again 3-2 split from Liquid side, and both of the A players have pushed out towards long 2, looking to defend there. Pimp and Nitro holding in those spots, and NRG pushing into the mid connector, completely avoiding the A long route. So they're going to be looking for suicide peaks possibly in a moment, and they don't even hear them too, so no noise is really being made by NRG at the moment. They're just walking right out, and they're also going to have drop pressure coming in. There's no active drop defense from Team Liquid. You've only got Hiko holding outside of the room. If they wanted to go in and try for a pinch, they would basically have it for free, and they'd walk right into the A bomb site. Team Liquid would have to play retake duties right for the beginning of it, but I think NRG knows something's up over there. And now Hiko, look at him. He's managed to lurk his way in. Scob B, this is all going to fall to timing. Hiko moves in there. He grabs that kill against Scob B as he tries to move in towards drop. Punishes it. Bugly sneaking in as well. He had the angle advantage against Nitro, but couldn't win the battle. Ends up doing great damage, but now they're working against a 3-on-5. Nitro, perfect pop flash to blind Legia. He's going to push in. He gets good control, but he's still going to take down Nitro. Manages to accomplish that job at the very least, and a little bit more of a mini battle happening here at Long A, too. We are going to see tabseN dueling against Pimp. I think Pimp just spotted tabseN, though. It's in this difficult spot, but apparently not that difficult. tabseN walks right down, destroys Pimp. Pimp didn't realize what was going on, so he's going to get knocked out. It's even again, into a 3-on-3, and we still haven't seen Team Liquid start the retake yet, despite the positions at long there. They squandered it, and now they're just working with probably one of the worst positions that they could be playing with here. No time to really line up a flank or anything like that. They just got to go directly for it, and they've even got players in the shed. Thankfully, good pop flash holds tabseN back, but they wait too long, and he's going to grab 2 kills. The last one is on Hiko here, and he's going to get denied by Legia. So there you have it. 16-7 is the second map score, and NRG will 2-0 Team Liquid here tonight. So overall there, I mean, we saw a fairly quick second half. Very, very dominant once again for NRG, much more so than the last map. So what's the key things there? What do we see happening in that second half that just Team Liquid doesn't bring to the table?
Maybe it's just me as, like, you know, a strat caller, but NRG tactically were so superior. They were always in position to win the round. They you know, their players were. They made perfect reads on which sites to hit, when to hit it, when to throw fakes. I mean, Gabi was something else.
All right. So that is going to close things out for myself and Dazed here for right now. We're going to send things back over to the analysis desk to talk more on this match. Let's take it over to those guys at the desk.
Nice NA hair, Daze. Nice NA hair, bro.
Yeah, I just saw that, man.
Twitch chat's been spamming that one for
a good
couple
like 20 minutes now.
Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, I mean that was pretty epic there. I mean the very first game was on Dust 2. We thought Liquid was going to come back, ends up falling short, and then that had to be just a huge backbreaker for them. If they got that win, the momentum would have been on their side for Cbble, but now they're possibly going to be outside looking in. I don't know if Liquid's going to have what it takes to make it to the top 6.
Yeah, I mean, first I would say I'd rather have the problem of that Daze just had with like a piece of hair hanging out than the problem that I presently have with my hair situation. And then second, I would say I think in addition to my hair situation being a problem, Team Liquid's got some real big problems right now. I don't know if they need to go back to the drawing board. I completely agree with what Daze said about the tactics and just use of utility, where they were targeting on the map. They seem to have great reads. Their rotates were really clean. It was a very good CT half. They actually they lost that 1v2 to Nitro, and I think they were like that round away from that being closer to an 11-4 half on CT side Cbble, which is somewhat rare to see. They outplayed them tactically, and then on that map, they just seemed to be bringing more firepower, which, again, it's one of those things, if you look at it on paper, you'd say Liquid, clearly the better individual player to player. Didn't look like that in the server on Cbble.
Didn't look like that, and it didn't look like strategically that they could hang either. That's what the guys on the desk were talking about. But NRG, another hot start. They had that hot start when they were down 2-0, obviously on Dust 2, but then had that amazing 13-2 run, and then here they have a 7-2 run. Yeah,
this was. I thought Peter played tremendously well in the first 3 quarters of the first half, if that makes sense. Like at this point, that you saw him with the 2K there, that peak on the JDM was a dirty peak, Pete, and just seemed to really be delivering the frags for them. Did a really good job. I felt like we were wondering when Liquid was going to hit drop, because it's an area of the map that's very easy to get control of. You see teams do it in a bunch of different ways, but you can essentially do it with minimal utility use. You can split in either direction off of it, and I think Liquid went drop one round that whole half. Cbble basically played it with an SMG, which is a super bizarre thing to see people do and then not get punished for. And it was like Liquid just didn't have that read. I don't know if maybe that's Elige is now the in-game leader and didn't recognize that, but it was just a very bizarre T side. They had that tactical timeout. They got some rounds afterwards. They weren't good rounds. They were close, like that 1v2. Nitro wins that. Statistically, he should lose that more times than not. They were able to win it, but then in that second half, they were blown away.
Yeah, and we also have an interview with Cbble as well. So excited to get another interview in there. It's been a while. Hey, how you feeling, Cbble, after that win?
I'm feeling very good. How are you feeling, guys?
Feeling great. So you guys, almost dropped the ball in that first Dust 2 game, but after you guys won that, do you think that was the momentum that you needed to go into Cbble strong?
We were more prepared on Cbble than on Dust 2, and I think we also practiced a lot against Liquid, and we knew they have a really strong T side on Dust 2. So even though we won 13 rounds in a row, we knew our CT side is also not that good. So we knew this half will be really difficult, even though we just need 3 rounds. But yeah, after this win, we talked about our mistakes. We were a bit too hectic in the X-on-X situation on CT side. So we tried to reset this kind of stuff. Talked about, hey, we watched the demo together. What do they playing? Look at this tell and these kind of stuff, and we just tried to reset and go to the Cbble with a new mood, good mood. We were laughing a bit. Yeah, that's how we kind of prepared after Dust 2.
So before we talk about Cbble and some of the rounds that I think Legia had a couple back-to-back rounds that were pretty funny. You guys probably laughed, especially the one where he mollied himself. But on Dust 2, on your CT side, it seemed like you guys were willing to give them cat control, but they had a really good execute off of cat control. That they were able to take the site pretty regularly. The guy that was dropping down seemed to get 1 or 2 kills on the guy Ramp or Goose. Was that something you guys consciously decided we're going to give control of it and try to retake this, or was that something that you just didn't expect that they were going to do over and over against you?
It was something we expected them to do, but the thing is they are a really smart team to get cat control. They're using not all the time the safe equipment. They sometimes just aiming without flash, sometimes flashing, sometimes two flash, sometimes flash molotov. So it's really hard to get to hold cat control against them. So in one point they will just get it, and the execute is really good, as you said. And we had like ideas to block it, but also some bad rounds, bad flashes, and I think bad timing as well. Like this kind of combination lost us the A execute. We had a plan. We knew like, okay, if the execute comes, we can do this and this. But unfortunately, it didn't work out so far. But our plan wasn't to hold cat control against them, because I was like, after watching the demo, I was like, guys, we cannot really hold against them cat. They're doing that really good. No, we cannot deny that, and that's why we couldn't hold cat against them.
Gotcha. And last question before you let you go celebrate with your team. You guys are at 11-5 now. You're in a very good position to get top 6 to make that offline final. What do you need to do? What's the message you take to your team as the leader to ensure that the streak that you guys have now continues and that you don't let your foot off the gas and maybe give back the position that you've established yourself in now?
It's pretty easy. Like we have like a kind of rule how we win. We won a lot of games now 2-0 where probably someone didn't accept us to win 2-0. So our goal, our daily preparation for a game is like watching together a demo, talking also outside about the game. Just making sure that everyone is like, hey, they know we had like such good reads against Liquid. We had like good tells, and we want to have this against every team, and we're just feeling better if we have this kind of mentality to going in the game. And I think everyone kind of in our team understand now that if we practice every time, like preparing together and talking about the game, it helps our game. And even though we can, like, that's not our limit at the moment, we can get even better. And I think we are at the moment we're going slowly up the ladder, but it takes this hard work to do, and I think everyone in the team understand that.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for your time here today. Congratulations on the win, and best of luck for the rest of the season, Gabi.
Thank you very much. Hope to see you soon, guys. Bye.
Love that he says it's pretty easy. And they're not worried about it.
It's interesting. He said that they were way more prepared on Cbble than they were on Dust 2, and it absolutely looked it. Like, you can see when a team that plays that tactical kind of Counter-Strike plays, and they're prepared, what it looks like, and that was a really impressive Cbble.
Yeah, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with for the remainder of the season. Meanwhile, like you said, Liquid's going to have to go back to the drawing board. Guys, I want to give a shout out to thescoreesports.com. Go on, take out your phone, your Android or iOS device. Go to the Google Play App Store, and as we know, it's the best place for news and stats. And don't go anywhere. C9 taking on Echo Foxes next after this break.
Obviously, the numbers have grown in the past few years with Counter-Strike's rise to prominence, but the real way the community has grown is just with all the companies